Welcome to the first rapid fire video. The subject this time is our recent publication, Brothers in Armour. In a handy A5 format, this provides 4 scenarios for play on the popular 6x4 size wargames table. After reading James Holland's Brothers in Arms, it struck us that this detailed history of the Sherwood Rangers yeomanry during the North West Europe campaign was packed with ideas for historically based wargames scenarios. A chance meeting with Steve Cox, curator of the Sherwood Rangers Museum, enabled us to get approval for the project from James and valuable information and insight from Steve himself. Of the 4 scenarios in the book, 2, Hamel and Rauray, are set in Normandy in June 1944. Inland from Hamel covers the D-Day assault on the heavily fortified western end of Gold Beach and the drive inland to knock out German positions that threatened the landings and the following Allied build-up. For the attack, 2 squadrons of the Sherwood Rangers were equipped with DD duplex drive amphibious tanks that we represent in the scenarios with 2 model tanks per squadron. This larger tank museum model shows the process of lowering the pneumatically supported canvas swimming skirt that enabled the tank to float, challenging if under fire. The Crab mine clearance Sherman tank is also represented in the scenario. Like all the family of AVREs, Armoured Vehicles Royal Engineers, the Crab was designed to speed the process of clearing the D-Day beaches. This model shows how its spinning chains would beat the sand and explode mines. WN-37 is one of 3 major German coastal strongpoints portrayed in this game. We represent it with the main gun casemate and a model building that depicts the much larger fortified sanatorium that was a key part of this complex. High on the cliffs above the beaches was WN-39, armed with a formidable 88mm gun. It had a sweeping view of the landing area. The British player also lands a single Churchill AVRE armed with the devastating 290mm petard mortar. This fearsome weapon fired a projectile nicknamed the Flying Dustbin that could devastate any bunker or reinforced position. These shots of one of our playtest games show the British infantry from 50th Division fighting their way into the village of Asnel-sur-Mer, just behind WN-37. The DD tanks are also in view, but no landing craft, as you don't need to represent the sea for this game. Here the Crab flail has made it off the beach, but has suffered damage. In this game, the British player brought the Churchill AVRE in to support the attack on the village. This also allowed it a shot at the WN-37 casemate, knocking out the gun, but at the cost of damage to the Churchill. As well as WN-37 and WN-39, the German defenders also man WN-40, a dug-in rather than concrete position that the British player has to capture. In fact, all 3 of these, a smaller strong point and the village, need to be taken if the British can claim victory. The second scenario, On to Rauray, is a more conventional Normandy game, with the Sherwood Rangers supporting the 49th West Riding Infantry Division, the Polar Bears, whose monument, shown here, is situated midway between the British forces' start line and their objective of Rauray. This recent photo shows some of the surviving original village buildings, stone built and ideal for defence. This action was part of Operation Martlet, a precursor to the Epsom offensive aimed at capturing Caen. In this game, one of the first tasks the British have to carry out is capturing St Nicholas Farm, which lies close to their start line. The real St Nicholas Farm was surrounded on 3 sides by orchards, but on the wargames table the model farm occupies far more space than the real thing, so the orchards are represented by a line of small trees facing the attackers which block observation but provide no extra cover. In these shots from a playtest, unbeknown to the British, the farm is defended by a company from the 3rd Battalion, SS Panzergrenadier Regiment 26, who are the main German force in the scenario. The Germans are supported by 2 Panzer IVs and the later reinforcement of a single model Panther. In the real battle, the Sherwood Rangers' Sergeant Dring claimed 4 German tanks, all of which had been rushed back to bolster the defence of Rauray. The scenario, which includes tank versus tank and infantry action, is challenging for both sides. The battle for Gheel is the 3rd scenario in the book and reunites the Sherwood Rangers with their D-Day compatriots 50th Infantry Division. This scenario depicts the attempts in September 1944 to take this Dutch town close to the Albert Canal and the Belgian border. At this time, as tank losses had mounted, more Sherman Fireflies, armed with the high-velocity 17-pounder gun, were issued, and in this scenario, 2 Firefly models take to the table out of a total of 5 Shermans. Here a restored Firefly churns its way around the arena at Bovington Tank Museum. At Gheel, these upgunned tanks were valuable counters to a company of Jagdpanthers. These formidable tank destroyers are represented by 2 models in this game, the actual vehicle matching up to 100mm thick armour with a powerful 88mm gun and a comparable speed to the Sherman. The battle for Gheel is unusual because the game starts with Gheel being held by a British spearhead of infantry and armour that has been surrounded by German units. These consist of Luftwaffe trainees and the aforementioned Jagdpanthers with supporting artillery. As the Sherwood Rangers and 151st Brigade battle to reach the town and relieve their compatriots, they also have to contend with German reinforcements in the form of 2nd Battalion, Fallschirmjäger Regiment 6. Assault on Prummern is the 4th and final scenario in the book and depicts the joint British and American attack on a village in the Siegfried Line, part of the offensive against the town of Geilenkirchen. Set in November 44, its 2 key features are the twin hazards of deep mud and concrete bunkers or pillboxes. For this game, we're going to have a closer look at the forces involved. The main German force defending Prummern is the battalion-sized remnants of the 330th Volksgrenadier Regiment. These troops are classed as poor due to their demoralised condition after suffering heavy casualties. But they are in dug-in positions, including bunkers, and benefit from having 2 Panzerfaust allocated to each wargames company. The German player will need 3 of these companies for this scenario. In support on the table, the depleted regiment has a battalion heavy company armed with a medium machine gun and an 81mm mortar, but also a regimental 13th Gun Company. This provides heavier support in the form of a 75mm infantry gun and a 120mm mortar. The regimental 14th Anti-Tank Company is also represented, with a Pak 40 75mm anti-tank gun, and although only 1 is pictured here, 2 Panzerschreck anti-tank rocket launchers. The Germans can call upon a dual-purpose 88mm anti-aircraft anti-tank gun manned by a Luftwaffe crew. For the Allies, the Sherwood Rangers attack Prummern with 6 model Shermans, 3 of which are 17-pounder Fireflies. As well as the formidable German anti-tank defences, the tanks face the risk of bogging down in thick mud. This is represented by a special rule that requires every tank of the Sherwood Rangers, other supporting AFVs, and the light vehicles of the American infantry to throw a D6 every time they move off-road. A 6 and they bog down. The Allied force is also supported by a Churchill Crocodile flamethrower, particularly useful against the German bunkers. Some sources also suggest that the American infantry had US armoured support, represented in this game by a single M18 Hellcat tank destroyer. This lightly armoured AFV had a powerful gun and an exceptional turn of speed, as demonstrated here at Bovington Tank Museum. The US infantry that the Sherwood Rangers supported were from the as yet unbloodied 84th Infantry Division, the Rail Splitters. The 1st and 2nd Battalions of its 334th Regiment were tasked with the initial assault on Prummern, and the Allied player will need to field 2 identical units. each with an HQ, 3 infantry companies, a heavy company with medium and heavy machine gun and medium mortar, as well as a 57mm armed anti-tank platoon. The Allies have also got the backing of off-table artillery support. So that's a swift journey through Brothers in Armour. We hope you enjoyed this, the first of our rapid fire videos, and are inspired to play the Brothers in Armour scenarios. Join us on Facebook for regular rapid fire updates and visit the Rapid Fire website to purchase Brothers in Armour and our other books and PDF publications, plus a host of free downloads. Our special thanks to John Durston for engineering the video and making the tea, and the Rapid Fire community for their help in playtesting these games.